Now, I know you, and I know you like to keep receipts, and I know all year you were saying the three tools up forward with the Crows isn't going to work in a big final. It was something even coach Matthew Nicks was pondering after the straight sets exit.
I know, it's a fair question. It was one that was thrown around all year. Like, Ken, you can't play this many tools. You probably find me at times questioning whether you can or not. We did some stuff this year where we showed it can work. In finals footy, we'll go back and have a really good look at it, but maybe there is a need for a little bit more speed and a little bit more defence going the other way, but we didn't give our forwards a chance tonight.
Pretty honest from Matty Nicks, and I should have been an accountant, Sarah, because I'm very, very good at keeping receipts. Like, make sure when tax time comes around, if you've
You're the guy.
you've got a work expense, you've kept that receipt and you claim it at tax time. That's what I've done. It worked against the poorer sides, absolutely, no worries. The bottom 8 sides, the bottom 10 sides, it worked, the tall forwards, but it was never, ever going to work when the history would say that tall forwards don't dominate in finals. Now, there's the exception to that, what Gunston did. I don't necessarily see him as a tall, but largely it is what Lohman and what Bailey and what Rayner has done and what the Smalls do in finals. That's the history of it. So to have 3 of the slowest, most immobile forwards in the one forward line was never, ever going to work. So, and it's difficult because you've got a club legend in Taylor Walker who commands the respect of the group. And when he's there, the players want to kick him the ball. But this team's got to move past Taylor Walker. It has to be Fogarty, who you gave 7 years to in a contract, and it has to be Phil Thorpe's forward line. It can't be this guy because this is what you get. He can't move, Taylor Walker. And against Scrimshaw and Sicily, who are much smaller in size opponents, but more nimble, he was just found out and exposed in a big, big way. So look,
And
I'd be
these
really
are almost
surprised if Taylor
moments,
Walker,
aren't they, Kane? Like, he
yeah,
almost kicks his goal. He
But
almost kicks
if he's
his
not
goal.
doing that, that's his strength though. If he's not finishing these, then what else does he bring? I mean, that's he has to be nailing those. Otherwise, he's a liability defensively. So 28 intercept marks that Collingwood took the previous week. Hawthorn ran all over them from the back half and set their ball movement up. So it's got to be 2 tall forwards. I think Matthew Nicks would be, realising that now, as should everyone else.
So the first minor premier to go out in straight sets in 42 years. It's not something that Adelaide fans will enjoy reading. But do you think for the Crows playing group, their mentality, will they be scarred from this experience? Or is it just you cannot buy finals experience and they will be better for the run?
It's hard to know. Like, there's teams that have been smashed in grand finals, and I've been part of that, which really knocks you around. I'm not sure what the impact of finishing top and dominating and having 2 home finals and then really capitulating will have on the group. I suspect significant, and it's going to take some time for the players to recover. But I guess it gives you an insight into how far off they are. And this is a group that haven't won a final for 7 years. Certainly the club hasn't won a premiership for the best part of 28 years. So these fans are pretty impatient, and this was a great opportunity for them. One that, with a harder draw next year because they finished on top, their injury list was so thin this year. They're probably the least club affected by any significant injuries other than Rankin and Rochelle. They were really healthy. So they're not going to get that luck again with injury next year. So there'll be some challenges that they have to face next year that they wouldn't have faced this year. And they're probably 1 or 2 midfielders, and we've probably found out a key defender short for them to be in the mix to win the premiership next year.
Yeah, so you do think they need another A-grader alongside the likes of the skipper, Jordan Dawson, who looked a little bit proppy. And you mentioned Rankin. I feel like they've never needed him more in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one. It was always going to be difficult. Dawson had a poor final series, but yeah, I mean, Sid Draper is a high draft pick. He will, I think, be an A-grader. It won't be next year, but they'd love to get him in with his speed around the footy. But there was a bit of sameness through the midfielder. Berry just doesn't get enough of the footy. Saligo's the same. Peatling is a depth player. Isaac Cumming gave them really nothing. And Neil Bullen, they would have wanted a bit more from his experience. So, yeah, they had some disappointing performers.
Now, Kane, somehow you've made it into this show. Let's have a look at you at Adelaide Oval the other night.
See you, mate. See you, buddy.
As Kane Cornes gives
Hey,
a good farewell to someone who had a sledgehammer before the game.
see you, mate.
What's going on there?
Sarah, I just couldn't help myself. This
Really?
clown was absolutely giving it to me during the middle of the national anthem. He was screaming at me in front of everyone to stand up. And I was standing up. I'm like, mate, I am standing up. So I don't know if it was a height joke or what it was, but this middle-aged Crows fan with his Guernsey on, when he took off halfway through the third quarter, I was not missing the opportunity for him to get back under the rock that he's been under for the last 7 years, and he left early, and I think I got the last laugh.
Yeah, I guess you did.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.